Welcome to Beauty Superstars Talk, your backstage pass to experts in beauty. My name is Mickey Wright, and each and every week I have the privilege to interview Black beauty bosses who are doing amazing things in the beauty industry. We give voice to their stories and celebrate their excellence while they drop nuggets to help all of us become better beauty pros and better entrepreneurs. More than a podcast, this is a movement to encourage Black excellence, entrepreneurship, to preserve our history, and to bring healing to the beauty industry. Welcome to Beauty Superstars Talk, your backstage pass to experts in beauty. Well, welcome to Beauty Superstars Talk. That was the first time we tried out our new introduction, so I hope you like it. And my name is Mickey Wright. I am here to welcome you to Beauty Superstars Talk. It's your backstage pass to experts in beauty, and we have a really great show coming up today. It's like I have a special guest here with me today, and if you have ever dreamed of becoming a celebrity stylist, you are in luck because this gentleman has been in the trenches for a while, and he can tell us all the good juicy things that we need to know about how to succeed in that arena and what it even means, because I think a lot of people just see, or hear celebrity and it's like, that's what I want to do. But, what does that really mean? And what does that really look like? So we are going to take a little deep dive into that. And even if you've never, thought about doing anything with celebrities, it's like there will be so much to what he shares about this industry and about his experience in it that you will gain so much. So definitely stay tuned. I want to welcome my guest, Adrin Seven Washington, and goes by Seven. So welcome.
Hello, Mickey, and welcome everybody. It's good to be here. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I am too.
What's going on, my dear? How are you today?
I am doing spectacular, and
Yes.
I just want to share just a teensy bit. I mean, and I really mean this is like a snippet of his actual career. I'll share more with you about that later, but I want to share with you just a little bit of his bio so that you can know who we are here sitting with, the royalty that's in the house here. So, heal the hair to touch the soul is the mantra that guides the hands of award winning celebrity hair designer and creator of the Everbeen oil designed to reclaim your hair edges, Adrin Seven Washington. His stellar signature styles have found their way to the pages of Vogue, Vanity Fair, Essence, InStyle, Heart and Soul, Jet, Upscale, Ebony, Black Hair Sophisticates, and other leading beauty and fashion magazines. With remarkable talent, innovative skills, and undeniable charm, he has been matched by the likes of celebrities such as Patti LaBelle, Linda Carter, Lupita Nyong'o, Amy Poeler, Naomi Campbell, Gabrielle Union, Rashida Jones, America Ferrera, Shaka Khan, Deborah Lee, Valerie Jarrett, Nicki Minaj, Loretta Lynch, and Jennifer Hudson, to name just a few. Okay. His work has been featured on numerous television programs, including Good Morning America, The View, Chelsea Lately, Late Night with Stephen Colbert, The Martha Stewart Show, Extreme Makeover, Inside Edition, CNN Tonight, Fox 5 Morning News, The Real Housewives of DC, and The Real and Morning Joe. So, just a little bit more here. Seven, as his clients call him, has garnered national recognition as the champion of hair idol by Sensational. He also holds accolades as the winner of Total Trendy Look at the Bronner Brothers International Hair Awards, the National Golden Scissor Awards Weave Master title, the National Golden Scissor Awards Male Stylist of the Year, and the Bobby Boss Celebrity Artist of the Year. Seven is the education director for the Maryland chapter of the National Beauty Culturist League, Inc., and the current owner of Seven and Companies, Inc., a beauty boutique that provides beauty consulting, products, services, and training. So woohoo.
Thank you.
What and like I said, that's just a snippet of what you've done. So we really appreciate you being here today just to share with us. And I always like to find out, like, how did you even get started in the beauty industry?
Like most people, I've been passionate about beauty since I was a child. I would say I got started in the beauty industry when I was 3. Not really in the industry, but that's when I knew I had a love for beauty because I used to color girls' hair in the coloring books. So coloring books, I would only color the hair and color the tails. And so that's what kind of got me my love for beauty. As I grew up, I played with dolls, had mannequins and all of those kind of things. But growing up in South Carolina, it was important for us to go to college. So I didn't really think I would pursue a career in beauty because I lived in a college town. And so my parents were like, you got to go to college if you want to be somebody and you want to go somewhere. So I went to college first. 2 years after working in advertising, I realized I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life because I made more money as a hairdresser. I'm like, college, you was only making 30 something $1,000. I knew hairdressers was making big money. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go and do beauty. And so that's what kind of got me in the industry. I did hair all throughout high school and college, but I had no license. So I was like a
Okay.
kitchen, you know
Right.
what I mean? And so
Uh-huh.
that's how I kind of got into the industry. But I've always had a love for it. I've always loved hair and beauty. My mother even said I always used to love long hair and long nails. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. It's like, and definitely, I don't know. So I don't know that many people that knew that early on that that was like their love. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
three,
wow.
that's special. Yeah, and like you say, I could picture your coloring books when you were talking about
Oh
like
my
I only
goodness.
color the hair, so like
That
don't
was all
even
you knew. It was so funny because they knew the coloring books that I had because nothing else was colored but the hair. So there was like, oh,
okay.
Rel had that coloring book. You know what I mean?
That's
So
a clue, right?
yes.
That is funny. But it's like you said, you went in high school and college and did hair. And what was that experience like? Was that just kind of natural for you, or how did you evolve
Well,
into that?
actually, how I involved. So I used to always love doing hair, and I had a neighbor. She was a woman with European texture, and she would let me do her hair in um, urban culture styles. Now, layman terms, it was a white woman who used to let me do her hair in black people hairstyles, salt and
Okay.
pepper, and all of that. So, I used to cut her hair. I was like 12 or 13.
Okay.
And I was also on the choir. And my cousins that played for the choir and directed the choir were hairdressers who worked in a salon that their mother passed away to them because their mother passed away when she was young, maybe 40, 50. My cousins, Camilla and Darlene Jamison. So they owned a salon and we used to practice at their hair salon
Mm.
for choir practice, and get all of that stuff going. So long story short, they did hair in the salon. So they taught me how to do finger waves on a mannequin. And
Okay.
I would do the mannequin hair when I got home from high school and college because growing up in South Carolina, you kind of, for me, I was always a girlish boy. So I always kind of hid the girl side of me because I didn't want, people to pick at me and do those kind of things. So I would do the mannequin in the closet, like hide it and let it air dry and all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of my intro into it. 14 years old, I did my neighbor's hair. Her cousin saw it. She liked it, came and got her hair done. Then her sister came, and next thing you know, I had clients in the neighborhood. So by the time I was 16, I was making more money than both my parents as a hairstylist, just kind of doing it on the side after school, 16 and all of that. So I did it all throughout high school. When I got to college, because I went to college in my hometown, I had a home where I can put the basement, kind of like the garage, as the hair salon. So I did that all throughout college. I never stayed on campus because I just got a house where I could work and go to college, kind of thing. And so I did that throughout high school and college. But I thought, let me just, when I graduate from college, hair is over. I'm going to do advertising or media. Little did I
Mhm.
know, that changed. And so that's what kind of got me in there was my cousins teaching me how to do some finger waves on a mannequin. And
Mhm.
those are my first hairstyles. I used to think if the hairstyle didn't have no finger waves, waterfalls, or scrunches, it didn't look good.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, that's
Right.
but little did I know, celebrities like plain hairdos. So anyway,
Okay.
so that's how I, got my entry into doing hair or charging people to do hair because,
Uh-huh.
it just started with neighbors and it kept going.
Right, right. And one of the things that I help hairstylists with is with pricing and with being able to charge and feeling comfortable and confident enough to charge what they need to be charging for their services. And it sounds like and maybe I'm reading it wrong, but it sounds like you had no trouble with that from the beginning. So what was that
Well,
like for you?
Not really, because when I first started doing hair, especially in South Carolina, I was charging $10 and $15 because I really started out $7. Then it went to
Okay.
$10.
Hmm.
And if you got a relaxer, it was $15.
Okay.
And so, I started out, and by the time I finished South Carolina, my highest service was $40.
Okay.
So in my first 8 years of doing hair before I got a license, I was just doing some kitchen tissue hair, but it still made me good money because I
Hmm.
could make $1,500 on a weekend from
Wow.
doing a bunch of hair. So that was still good money. But honestly, it wasn't until I started working with Ted Gibson Salon in DC until
Uh-huh.
I really understood how to price myself right. And before that, I worked at a salon under Sharita Matthews. She's
Uh-huh.
a kind of icon in our area. And they taught us how to, she was, like, say your price and say it with confidence and don't be afraid. And
Hmm.
so she, helped me and the team when I was working with them, her and Monty and TD, they were like, you got to say. And so I learned how to say my price with confidence and how to believe in what I have and be in the market area. I also believe in see what's going on in your market so that you're priced kind of
Hmm.
correctly in that, because there was a time when I started pricing myself out, not saying but over, because I was just,
Hmm.
wait, that's a whole nother story. We'll get to that. I promise
Okay.
I promise I will share that too. But
Okay. Okay.
yes, and I mean, well, since we're here, I guess I can say that what
Yeah.
I've learned by being a celebrity stylist, at some point, you have to learn to duplicate yourself. Because once you get so high, it's like a client is not going to pay you $1 million, but you can train others
Hmm.
to do what you do similarly, and so that you can build a leverage kind of component to what you do, because at a certain point it's now time to duplicate, because I found for me I was so high, and then my business started going down and people started, so I was like, okay, cool, let me still be in consideration of the market and a little bit above the market rate, and that's
Hmm.
have worked, especially during these times.
Right, right. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're like spot on with that, that it's like there is a time to assess, where is the market for sure. I don't necessarily believe in trying to compete with the market, but it's like knowing what's going on is like a whole nother thing. Like know what's going on in your market and know who the leaders are, who the ones who are setting the pace, and know that, in terms of where you are, where you fit in.
I
And
totally agree.
okay, yeah, and you mentioned Ted Gibson, and for anyone who doesn't know, it's like he is the highest paid hair cutter in the country. He's a black man. It's like, but black or white, he's the highest paid. And what was working in his salon like for you? Like, how did that help you elevate to another level?
I would say Ted Gibson Salon for me was finishing school in the beauty industry, because I worked under a lot of great hairstylists learning how to do the craft, especially, like the Sharita Matthews and the people like that in the DMV area taught
Hmm.
me a lot about my skill. Nikita, Corey, just people in the DMV area who helped me get the weaving skill. And if you're gonna do hair, they made sure it was laid, no, nothing out of place. That kind, if it's a hair, curl it. And so I really learned the skill of hair designing and being, making the work look good in that. And then when I got to TED, it was a lot about making sure that not only you look the part, you act the part, and you dress the part, but you also be in support of your team. I will always remember this time when I was the top producer in the salon. I was making good money, bringing in close to $20,000 a month in revenue. And I'm like, oh, yes, I'm number one, blah, 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 blah. And Ted and I had a meeting, and he was like, that's all fine and dandy, but if you're not helping the assistants or the other people come up there too, then you really ain't. And it really taught me the power of, sharing and making sure that the team is there too. Like if you the number one and you all the number one, but you're not helping no one else get there, then that ain't really. But so, and he used to say this thing to me, which I really remember. He said, when you're successful, I'm successful. And when I'm successful, you're successful. And that really was a humbling moment for me, because it really, of course we want to shine, but,
Hmm.
give room for others too. And so that was, the experience was always great. We had those learning moments for me, you know what I mean? Because I thought, well, shoot, I'm booked and busy. But he's like, listen, you don't need to have the waiting, those kind of things. That was really good. So I must say it was truly the icing on the cake. And he opened the door for me for a lot of people, the pizza, the White House, Gabrielle Union, Rashida, like he would refer me so many clients, you know what I mean? And so it was really good to be under that tutelage and learn from him. And that's how I started teaching, because I learned through his system how to teach. He would have, education class for us. And then I became an educator in his class and became an educator in the salon. So for the DC salon, that's when I became the education director, and then go from there. So it was cool. I must say, he is definitely some strong wind. Him and Derek Rutledge, strong winds beneath my wings.
Yes, yes, wonderful. Yes, like I love Ted. It's like we actually started the show. He was my first person I interviewed, and so it was fabulous. It's like I've known him for quite a while, and it just really represents the industry at its finest, like you said, finishing school.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Derek Rutledge. I can't go past that. It's like, for anyone that doesn't know, it's like I no longer live in the DMV, but that's where I spent most of my career was in the DMV. And so Derek and I go way back. He was, the first person that did makeup for me for my photo shoots, and I won awards and, magazines and all that kind of good stuff. And he is just a first class person and sweetheart and talent beyond and vision beyond. And he's I guess for anyone who doesn't know, he's Oprah's makeup artist currently, and has been in that role for quite a while, and I'm just always super proud of him and excited. But tell us about your experience with working with him, since you said he's the wind beneath your wings.
Oh my goodness. So now Derek was my intro to celebrity hairstyling.
Mhm.
When I first moved to DC, because I moved to DC from South Carolina, I was born and raised there, and then I moved to Atlanta, like I said, worked. So when I moved to DC, one of the things I said was, before I came here, was like, if I'm going to do hair, I'm going to do it big. So when I got to town, I started doing hair shows. I started doing awards, events, that kind of stuff. And I was working at the Golden Scissors show just as a hair makeup artist, just helping them in the back, working with them, which was cool. You make a little money. Back then it was $25 a face. You done did 13, 14 faces. You feeling like, So long story short, I'm working backstage. Derek manager, Tim, he sees me. We talk, and I'm just being me. Life is really about relationships and showing up and being in contribution. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I was there helping Golden Scissors out, working backstage, just, being in contribution to the show. Tim saw me and he was like, Derek, I think we should bring him on the team. So Tim, the manager, did that with Derek. I went, I interviewed. I did a hair cutting. I was not a great hair cutter then. And so, but they liked what I brought to the table. So they still brought me on. You know what I mean? Even though
Mhm.
like some of the hairstylists on the team didn't think I was kind of, worthy to be on the team, but they liked my personality and they liked how I did. I'm a firm believer of show up, be in contribution, have a great attitude, and be on time. And so
Mhm.
those were what matter. I showed up. Derek and Tim liked it. Derek and I began a relationship, and I was an assistant on the team.
Okay.
Patti LaBelle was in town. She was doing something, and I was an assistant helping her. The hairstylist couldn't make it for another event 7 months later, and that's how I took her on as a client. And Derek and I traveled with her on tour for 2 years. So he
Mhm.
taught me how to pack my kit, because I would have stuff falling out everywhere, gel, spritz, comb. He would teach me how to pack my kit, how to wrap up my tools so they stayed into place, how to treat people, how to be in contribution with celebrities, because it's not really just about you doing their hair or you're doing their makeup and service. You want to be in contribution. You want to build relationships, running, helping. Derek, one of the things I loved about him is he was a great connector, because even
Mhm.
though he worked with Patty and Cece and Shaka and these different clients, he would get CC to do stuff with Patty because he knew them too, or he
Mhm.
would connect some of them together. And I remember when we were with Fantasia and he introduced the Patty, so he was just great, being on tour with him. He is definitely like a godfather because he showed me a lot of what we do really is about how we treat people and how we show up. The celebrities that come and go, you collect them as you build a career, but really it's about showing up, being in contribution and making sure you look the part, having your kid neat, having those things that matter, So he was definitely, I'm from the country, so I'm a little cool in country, and sometimes I could be hillbilly-ish. So, so, Derek definitely, was a definitely, like I said, he was that refining moment. Him and Ted definitely helped chisel some of that, because you got to be good wood regardless. If you're good wood, you can cut and trim off the other parts that don't look so great or not, so whatever. But you still have to bring something to the table, some good wood. And that's morals, values, respect, those kind of things, So that's what Derek was. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful. And so, for some people who may be watching, who may be wondering, like, what's a kit? Like, just briefly tell us, like, what does that mean and what does that look like and how does it play into you, taking care of the celebrities?
Well, one of the things, a kit really is your essential tools that you need to provide the service: blow dryer, flat iron, wig pins, wrap cap, scarf, curling iron, glue, tape, tweezers. One of the things I'll always remember when I was on tour with Patti LaBelle, she would say it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So I would bring everything in the event because sometimes you need the curling iron, sometimes. And Patti LaBelle, she liked to switch her hair. So we would have one thing one time and one thing another, because she's a Gemini like me, so I get it. We switching, we doing and everything. So it was always important to make sure you have all the essentials, you know what I mean? And you can always have many versions of them, you know what I mean? So Derek was, good at compacting and having, a running kit, because sometimes you just need stuff to run with while you're backstage. And what that is pretty much your bare essentials to get through the work, what your client has, or just in case. And then you need a full kit to make sure you can provide all the services they need. And, it's so good. When I was at Ted Gibson Salon, we had a checklist of everything you should have: how many combs, how many brushes, how many flat irons, how many bobby pins, 50 bobby pins, 50 hairpins, those kind of things. And working backstage with him on a lot of the fashion shows in New York Fashion Week was good for building those kits and making sure you have those things to be successful, the tools you're going to need, and the in the event something happened tools, because sometimes things go crazy and you might need to I always remember this time we was on tour with Patti LaBelle. She was getting off stage. She was running from something, and we didn't have enough time to really do no hair. So she had to put on a hat. And so it was but she had a really nice one. You get what I'm saying? So we would have backup units just in the event if something happens, but yes.
Yeah. And I can imagine, like, working Fashion Week is different than working with a celebrity, because a lot of times you don't know who the models are, or what kind of hair they may have, or what kind of, they don't get too many preferences per se, what have you. But in terms of how the finished looks, because it's, for the designer. But, that I would think that you'd have to have a lot of, just in case,
Yes. And that's good. The good thing about those shows is you work with the team. Now, I don't recommend you not having everything you need, and they kind of give you clear of what the direction is. But in the event you may missing something, if you're with a teammate, they may have, a extra hairpin or a scrunchie or a hair tie. But it's good to just have extras of each, you know what I mean? And go through the kit list and pack it neatly so that things don't spill out, or, and Derek was good about, like, liquids, putting plastic over them and then putting the top on them so they didn't spill out, especially as a makeup artist, because he would know. And if you're on the I always, when you're on tour and you have like an aluminum kit and you looking real shiny and it's beautiful, but that didn't travel well, it would get bust up by the airport, and it would get so you get to the terminal for baggage claim, and you see all your stuff kind of Like, what's going on? And so you knew to, hey, get durable luggage. Kits are pretty, but they don't travel well. You might want to travel with something standard that can get busted and hit up and go through weather.
Right, right. Yeah, good tip there.
Yes.
'Cause that's scary to get
You
there
learn.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things, it's like we were talking about Derek and you were talking about the relationships and that type of thing. And I don't know, this is just coming to my mind, but it's like the last season or two of Oprah's show is like they did a behind the scenes segment. And it was actually going to be the last time that Gail and Oprah were both on the show. And Derek was, doing the makeup. And I think Gail wanted to wear a dress because she wanted to have just a really nice look for the last time she was going to be on it. And Oprah was like, I just want to wear like jeans or something. Why don't we just do that? And they were going back and forth. And I think it was Oprah who was like, Derek, what do you think? And he just had the best look of like, I don't think anything. It's like I'm not getting involved with, like this side and that type of thing. And how does that type of thing play into, being able to stay on top with celebrities that you're not, trying to overstep your place, I guess you could say.
It's so funny you say that because one of the things I've learned is truly to stay in your lane. Um,
Mhm.
Speak what you're an expert at. If it relates to hair, let me deal with that. One of the times I will being on tour with Patti, I always remember how like sometimes stuff would go on background that had nothing to do with hair. Like they would change the location for where we're gonna be, or the stage tour crew is upset because some part and they're cussing and they got to get the stage ready before, and there's so much going on in the background, you know what I mean?
Right.
And you're like, I'm not getting into that. That's what I've learned is, where do you want me to do the hair? My job is to be the hairdresser, and where do you want me to do it at? I can do it in that corner, over there, whatever. Like I can do hair even in the bathroom.
Right.
And so you've learned to, be focused. And what it really taught me was peace is not a place where there's no noise or where it's quiet or where it's serene. It's really being in the midst of all of this commotion and remaining calm in your heart. And if you stay in your lane and you get what I'm saying, let everything go, whatever may be, focus on the strengths. Now, be in contribution, yeah, but like I've learned, hey, I'm not a good fashion person. I mean, for myself, but I don't know fashion, so I don't speak on that. I
Right.
don't know, and so I kind of stay out because, yeah, so I'm with him there. What I've learned there, like pretty much stay in your lane, be an expertise in what you do so that, that's what you're accredited for, as opposed to, sometimes we do too much and we be too involved, and what it starts to do, you accept responsibility for that, because if it went wrong,
Right.
but Derek said it, or
Right.
Seven or Mickey said it, you get what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So yeah, it's really about, really knowing what you're the expert at and what your job is to do as the
Mhm.
professional.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's so powerful what you just said. So I really hope that, somebody may need to do a rewind on that. It's like that is
Yes.
spot on. It's like be the expert in what you're an expert in and let that be it. And then, that part about having the peace within you. And I think that can apply to so many different settings in the industry, not just backstage or, on tour with a celebrity. It applies even in the salon. It's like there's stuff that we don't need to get involved with because it's not our issue and it's not what we can
It's
really
so
do.
funny you say that, because I teach my assistants that we have to be guarded with our conversation, because sharing a problem with a client who can do nothing about it, really, it dampens the mood, it changes the tone. Like the client don't need to know your car broke down. She can't fix your car.
Right.
You know, so be guarded with what you share. Like, stay in a positive upbeat. You can deal with your car when you get off or those kind of things, but being guarded with what you share, because if they can't help you, why you just another problem, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, and
So
they don't come in there to hear our problems. It's like
yes, 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 yes,
they
yes.
got
And here's
those at
our
their
problem.
home.
And
Yeah.
our problems are far and few between when you look at all the stuff they have going on. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah, we're there for them. So,
Yeah, that's what
yes,
we get to do.
absolutely. Do not share all your problems with your clients.
I ain't sharing none of them. I
Okay,
mean, I
right.
can share one if there's somebody who's gonna help me, like an accountant or
Right.
those kind of things. But I'm like, what are we talking about that for? Like, and then I've also learned the law of attraction. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? And
Right.
so I'm big on personal development and all of that. Like that's something I've studied for 20 years. So
Hmm.
that's something I've always made sure to center myself and get good books and read good stuff to keep your
Yeah.
mind sharp. Because that's really what's going to sustain you through
Right.
all of this.
Yeah, and I did find out that you and I share a favorite book, The Game of
Um,
Life and How to Play
ooh,
It.
I give that book to so many newcomers, new people just start out. I mean, I buy extra copies and give it away
Mhm.
because it changed my life. Like it really did. And it began a journey of other books like this, The Secret, The Science of Being Rich, The Science of
Mhm.
Getting Rich, Who Moved My Cheese, Think and Grow
Mhm.
Rich. I just started going on. It was just like I would read them in my car, listen to them in my car.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, when I drove to Ted Gibson Salon all the time while I was working there, I would listen to The Science of Getting Rich
Mhm.
over and over and over and over again. I just knew the words. I mean, I could just say the words to the music, to the CD, because I just kept listening to it. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, I'm gonna go over there. But yes,
Yeah,
that
but I mean, that's how we learn, and that's how you make those shifts, those mental shifts, those mindset shifts that really can take you to that next level. Because
yeah.
it's not all about, oh, I'm great and I'm doing this or I'm getting this break. And, it's like there's other things at play because getting there is one thing, but staying there is like another thing as well.
Hmm. Yes, it is. And that's what helps. I can definitely say helped me to stay and sustain. It was the personal development. It was the books that I read, the
Hmm.
things I said to myself, the affirmations. I had a friend, Joelle Lee.
Hmm.
She's an esthetician. She did Michelle Obama. We're great friends. I met her through Johnny, and we all, while working at Ted Gibson Salon, and she and I started affirmations a while ago. And she shared one with me, which I still use to this day. Every day I wake up, I always say to myself, all is going well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come. I am safe. It will work miracles in my life. Now, I say some other stuff with that, but that part was one she and I shared, she gave to me. And so, you got to be intentional with what it is that you do as well. All of that, yeah, you may get it, but what's going to take to stay? And that's really the personal development, believing in what we say, and being surrounded by those people who do that.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It definitely sounds like you've been surrounded by some excellent people.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Joelle, it's like I've spoken to her, or maybe we've just communicated by message. I follow her on social media, but she's right here. I live in Raleigh, North
Oh,
Carolina now.
yeah. She's in Holly's. Well, I don't know. But
Yep,
yeah, she's in the area.
that
Yes,
area. Yeah, yeah.
she's
And so
in
I'm
the area. Yes.
definitely looking forward to meeting her face to face as we can get out
Wonderful.
and about
Well,
more.
you know what? We can make that happen.
Okay, okay. I'm
Yes.
definitely up
And
for it.
she's Capricorn. Aren't you Capricorn too?
Yes, I am.
Yes, she's Capricorn too. So yes, 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 yes. So that's good. Some Capricorn sisters.
Yep. Amen. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you mentioned Johnny in passing, but you want to tell us who Johnny is?
So Johnny Wright was Michelle Obama's hairdresser, and he and I became friends working at Ted Gibson Salon. He was going to work there, but well, it was a consideration. He was interviewing salons. Our salon was in Bethesda, wasn't really close to the White House,
Oh,
so he needed to be in close proximity. But he interviewed at several salons, and when he came into town, he, and I started a friendship. And one of the things he had to do was reach out to, well, I don't really know how it goes, but in the event that he ever like couldn't show up or something, they needed to have hairstylists and so he asked me, hey, send my information so that I can get through clearance, because that was the thing.
okay.
You had to get cleared before you could work, especially with the first lady or anyone in the cabinet. So he helped me to get clear, and I was able to get in the cabinet. Now, I never worked on her. I probably was fifth in line or something,
Okay.
but we became friends, and so I went to his engagement parties. We started doing field projects here and there together. We never really worked together, but we worked alongside each other because I did Valerie and some of the other ladies in the cabinet. So we always knew each other, and Joel and him were friends from Chicago. So
Oh,
whenever we would have family stuff like Christmas, holidays, he was actually one of the first persons who gave me stuffed peppers. He made them one time at Joel's event. So we've done a lot of, unique interactions and stuff together. He just had a birthday, as a matter of fact. So we talk and everything. And I met him through that Ted Gibson relationship. And he and we just became effortless friends, just
mhm.
through associations, our friendship just nurtured and grew.
Right, right. Yeah, that's wonderful. It's like he's so dynamic and humble and,
Yes.
like an artist of your craft, you study and master your craft and yeah.
And he's a Dudley graduate. So,
Yeah.
so that was good too. So, so he's definitely truly a cool guy, I must say.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like, well, definitely, I think surrounding yourself by the best, putting yourself in situations, where you can be surrounded by greatness, I think is really sounds like one of the keys to your success.
Oh, yes. And being intentional about it.
Mhm.
Going to the hair shows, going to the events, working for free sometimes.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's not even about getting the money, and
Yeah.
being in the right place. I remember, and being prepared when you get there. One of the events I will always remember is we were doing a for sisters only event in DC, and our school teacher from Dudley's invited us. We came, we worked. There was a photographer there named Daryl, and I knew I had seen him before. So I made sure I went and set my station up by his booth because I'm like, let me set up by here so he could see I could do some little makeup. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we did for sisters only. We worked. We went home the next day. There was a photo shoot at Dudley. Our teacher told us to come so we could, do some stuff. I got there early. The teacher never showed up, and I'm just there to help out, be whatever. They started getting backed up, Mickey, from the makeup from the photo shoot
Mhm.
because they needed to get the models out. Lo and behold, I had my kit in the car. I was ready. They was
Right.
like, "Hey, can you do some makeup? Oh, can you?" I was like, "Sure, I got my kit." Mickey, it was $25 a face, and I went home with about $250, $300. I thought, like, oh my God, I just struck gold.
Okay.
That was back then. But
Mhm.
it
As a student,
was
yep.
being in the right environment,
Right.
and being intentional about it and getting away. A prophet is never respected in his hometown. Like
Mm.
sometimes you got to get away, go to people, show up, be there, be in contribution, and be intentional. Like, how bad do you want it? You say you
Mhm.
want it, but are you doing what it takes to get it? Because if not, those who got it, they went out to get it. And my friends are always say, like, God is faithful and God is this. I say, yes, God is, but God only show up for those who show up for him. He's not
Mhm.
gonna give you something if you're not there to do the work. You get what I'm saying? God, so I'm like, yeah,
Right.
we good. God is great, but we got to do the work. You get what I'm saying? For it to happen. Like he didn't just go bless. If anyway, everybody would have get a blessing. You got to show up for the blessing, Mickey.
Amen. Amen. You better preach on that one.
So that's my take on that, Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The way I've heard it is pray and move your feet. And it's like
Yes, Mickey, I like that. Now there it is, short and sweet. Pray and move your feet. Oh, yeah.
okay.
That again now. You hear that again? Make sure I'll give you your credit. But yes, pray and move your
Okay.
feet.
Feel free to share.
Yes.
There's a lot of people, like you say, in prayer, but no feet moving. So
Yeah. Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
absolutely. Now I want to take a step back because I want to just I heard, you spoke on growing up in a college town and going to college. And I know that college is not, a path for everyone, but what was your experience like? How do you feel like it may have influenced or shaped you for this career that you kind of landed in a sense and kind of were destined for, it sounds like, but
You know what, Mickey? Honestly, for me, college was an experience that taught me how to work with others, how to write, how to read, how to, better, and how to move in this world as a professional, one
Mhm.
of the things that was able to get me through as a celebrity artist or a hairstylist and all of that is when I got to magazines or got to speak with the higher ups, because they're the one who hire you. The
Right.
celebrities don't really hire you as much. I mean, they will if they like you and all of that, but really you're getting booked by the agents. You're getting booked by the PR firms. You're getting booked by the, you know what I mean? Those kind of people. And so I always knew how to speak. I always knew how to show up and be on time. College taught me, how to be a business person, how to, I had this one college professor, we had a business class, and we had to learn excuses are the tools of incompetence built on the foundation of nothingness. Those who specializes in using them specializes in nothing else. Excuses. And so I knew you couldn't bring none because he was, it was those kind of experiences in college that taught me how to be corporate with what we do. Because yes, we can all just do hair, but after that, there has to be a package that comes with it for you to get the kind of bookings you're going to have. And if you don't have anyone speaking on your behalf, you got to speak up for yourself.
Mhm.
Fortunately for me, I've never had an agent. I've never had any representation. Tim, who worked with Derek, but I also had I had good relationships. And when it was time for me to speak, I knew how to. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And I knew how to have a conversation that would take us in a different direction. Because at the end of the day, people still want to make some money and want to make sales. And
Right.
that's something I was good at with product companies. So I could get, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
so
Right.
college allowed me to have these extra relationships that go beyond and from behind the chair, because there are going to be conversations and rooms that you want to be in, and having some education. And that's what I love about the National Beauty Culturist League, which
Mhm.
I'm affiliated with, because even though you may not have traditional college experience, they give you a lot of tools and equipment, like skills that you don't get in a traditional beauty school environment. So that's what I liked about it. But college, I definitely say I'm glad I went to college first, because I was able to use, and that's what I said when I started becoming a hairdresser. I said, I'm going to use the same corporate strategies that I learned in advertising and apply them to hairdressing.
Mm. Yeah, that's awesome. Then any particulars that you can kind of give us an example of?
Um, so any particulars? Definitely attendance. When I was
Mhm.
working in corporate America, I had to be to work at 8 o'clock. I was a number one account executive for this firm in Atlanta called the Graphic Edge, and we sold
Mhm.
graphic design and printing. And even though I was number one in sales, I would show up to work 8:15, 8:30, always 8. And my boss told me work begins at 8, not you get here at 8. And
Right.
I was like, oh, okay. And I started showing up ahead of time. And so I carry that with me up until now. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because what I realized, women with money and people with money don't want you to take advantage of their time. You have to
Mhm.
respect their time. And a person will go with the person that is not that good and punctual than they will with the superstar who can curl your hair around the back and set it upside down but can't show up on time. And so you like, well, how come he getting all the gigs? Because I know how to show up on time. I know
Right.
how to be nice to the people. So, you know what I mean? And so that's one of the things I definitely got from the corporate world, was definitely showing up on time, definitely sending thank you notes. I send those to my regular clients. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Being
Right.
thankful, communicating with them. I send monthly or quarterly newsletters to my clients. I got that
Mhm.
from the corporate world because I was able to use, those printing stuff. So I would definitely say that newsletters, my
Mhm.
attendance, and definitely the attire, because when you go to school or when you're in corporate world, you got to learn to dress and be business professional.
Mhm.
So those two, I would definitely say the attendance and the attire were
Okay.
brought
Okay.
from the corporate lane. Yes, definitely that.
Can you repeat that about the work starts at 8? I think. How did you say
Yes,
that? I love that.
yes. So he was like, work starts at 8, not you get here at 8. You know what I mean? And so it taught
Okay.
me to definitely be here ahead of time. And I have this mantra that I share with my team and people all the time. It says, in time, on time is ahead of time, because that's better time. You know what I mean? And so, hey, I've always learned to get there early, do what it takes to show up early, and you can get a lot of things from being early. because the people who setting up, they'll see you, they'll recognize you, and they'll be calling on you for more things. We
Mhm.
had a photo shoot at Essence with Essence for the Congressional Women of the Black Caucus, and I did it, and it was like couple, and when I got there early, I got to meet the editors and all of that and started working with them. Next thing I know, we became friends. They invited me for more things, and we were at a wedding together where I was a special guest with all these editors from Essence, and I was sitting at the table with them. And it was, you get what I'm saying? And so
Right, right,
sometimes showing up early gets you a relationship built.
right, right. Yep, because you're there. Who they gonna talk to?
You
Yep,
know?
that's awesome. Yep, we need to hear that. We
Thank you,
definitely
thank
need
you,
to hear
thank you.
that. Yeah, and you mentioned the National Beauty Culturist League and BCL, and it's like I'm doing some work with them, and I'm super, excited. I've known about them a lot of my life. It's like my mom's a hairstylist, and was she worked with in the salon of one of the top leaders in the Michigan area, the Michigan state,
Mm.
in BCL. And so I've known about it my whole life, but really they have a project that's going, the Save 25 Logan
Hmm.
Circle campaign. And so we're, doing fundraising and that type of thing, but they do so many great things, and they have for over 100 years. And so tell us, what got you involved and why you stay involved, and what you'd say to someone who's watching, who's thinking like, well, what is it and why should I get involved?
Well, what really got me involved, what it is, the National Beauty Culturist League is an organization where beauty professionals can get master's, bachelor's, and professional degrees in cosmetology. And they've been around when Madam C.J. Walker first instituted her, when she started her conventions. NBCL was under that. And so they just continued from that. And in 1949, that's when they founded the National Institute of Cosmetology,
Okay.
which is where so before it was just a professional organization. And back in the early, like in the early 1900s, the 1920s, 30s, the manufacturers used to come and meet on the train going to NBCL, you know what I mean? And so
Mhm.
they would work. And so the Bronner brothers, all of these people that started, they first were there at the National Beauty Cultures League convention. And so I saw NBCL one time at a Bronner Brothers hair show. I saw their booth and I read their brochure and I was like, oh, this is great. I went to college. I would like to affiliate with an organization that had a sorority and a fraternity. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So I'm like, oh, this would be good. Didn't think much of it. I started working for KBell Products as an educator because I met them at a hair show in North Carolina, in Durham, with Dominique. I forgot Dominique's last name. But anyway, long story short, we work at the KBell. KBell invites me to come and teach a silk press class at the National Beauty Cultures League convention. He was NBCL. And when I got there, my mind was blown away. I
Mhm.
saw all these people in these white lab coats getting their degrees. And when I tell you, it was hundreds of people by the drones. And I was like, oh my God, I want to work with this or be affiliated with this. And so I wrote a letter to the dean, never heard back or anything. I guess it got in spam. One of my friends was in
Mhm.
town and she was like, well, Seven, come and meet us. So when I went to meet them, the dean was there, Dr. Toribano. And I was like, hey, I sent you an email, blah, blah, blah. She was like, I never got it. Da, 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 da. She was like, well, what are you doing tomorrow? We're having a training the trainer symposium. So I was able to get in the training class, and that's how I became an educator in there. And then I just started teaching, just being a guest educator. After a while, I'm like, I might as well be involved with this company. This organization is a great organization. I'm meeting great people.
Mhm.
I'm meeting proctors from state boards. I realized that a lot of who's who is affiliated with this organization. So
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, let me get in. And once I became an educator, I started, seeing what it's about. It is a mature organization. So a lot of things are what I like to look at is from a mature, seasoned audience. But what it provides is a catalyst for young professionals to matriculate in a degree program where they don't have to go to traditional college or traditional school to learn how to be a great hairdresser. I've met One of the things I love about NBCL is I've met more people that own their buildings and own their salons and own their properties than I have out here with the regular blow Joes. I'm like, oh, this is where the creme de la creme is. These ladies, they got it going on because they own properties and they teach you like, hey, you need to, pay your taxes and do your thing. And, so it's really about being a professional so that you can have some net worth and you can have some longevity because, so that's when I learned how to buy the building and those kind
Mhm.
of things. So that's what it really provides is a place where young professionals can learn how to, be a good professional without having to go to college. And you can use the credits to get
Mhm.
a professional degree. You know what I mean? It is a specialized degree. So it's not like a college academic degree. It's a special degree for beauty professionals, and so I love working with the people. Like I said, they are a mature audience. So you have to learn how to work with seasoned professionals, but there's so much you can get when you're patient and you nurture them.
Yeah, yeah, and that's who
Really?
to learn from. It's like
Yes,
there's a reason they've been around, been seasoned and mature, and all of the other things.
yes,
Yeah, they're very smart, and so much you can learn. And I think it is a Black organization. It was
it
for
is. Yes, it is a
Black
Black
beauty and
organization.
barber professionals. And one of the things that I see, it's just my personal opinion, in the Black community is that we kind of keep reinventing the wheel every generation. We don't
Mhm.
want to learn from who came before us. We don't want to seek out. It's like, oh, well, I know. It's like I'm on social media and I'm an influencer and this, that, and the other. But it's like, how do we take what has already come before us and have that to elevate us even more so? And like you say, not even just in the social standpoint, but, you know, buying your building, having a net worth, taking care of your taxes, all those kind of things. And so, with the building itself, the building, Save 25 Logan Circle, is like they actually have their headquarters in Washington D.C.
Mm.
25 Logan Circle, which is a very popular area of the Washington D.C. area. I think it's the only Black owned building right in that area,
Mhm.
and it has been owned by NBCL for since 1947. And
Mhm.
so with COVID, it's like they weren't able to do the conventions that they normally do, and they've lost some of the revenue, a good portion of the revenue that they would normally bring in to take care of, the upkeep, repairs, taxes, all of those kind of things. And so we want to make sure that they can stay a vital part of the community, stay, keep property that's growing and growing in value. It's over, I think, $2 million value,
Mhm.
in the hands of Black people who've had it for 74, 5, 6 years, somewhere in that ballpark.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it's like it's very exciting. So I did a couple interviews with them for that particular promotion. So I definitely encourage you to check that out, everyone that's watching. And they have their conference or convention is coming up this, as we tape this, we're at the end of June. It's going to be in the 18th through the 22nd of July of 2022. It will be virtual, as I understand it. And so I've been
Mhm.
doing some interviews specifically for them. So stay tuned for a wonderful convention. And if you haven't joined already, it's a great time to get in place to be able to attend the convention.
Yes, indeed. It's always a highlight.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that with us because I think a lot of people aren't familiar with the organization and, don't know why they should get involved. And I think you just hit the nail on the head there.
Oh, like thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, yeah, it's like you have had such a career and you've shared like so many nuggets with us already. But tell us about, the things that you're doing currently. It's like with your Everbeen oil. I know you have a passion for women keeping their edges, and you have seemingly mastered social media because you are so funny.
Yes, indeed. And so the Everbeen oil actually was a product that kind of happened on its own. I
Hmm.
was working at a health and beauty expo for my college university, and I was in contact. I was in negotiations with a distributor in the area that I lived in who worked with some really good brands. And so he was going to be working with me and a product, coming out, because Joel had been working with me, telling me if I do a product, it needs to have this, that, and the third. So we were going back and forth. And when it was time for us to go to produce, he tells me, he's like, well, we're 2 months behind. So we're going to have to, kind of delay the project. So I'm like, well, I'm going away it was like within a few weeks and I needed something in hand. So what I did was I just did the research and ordered from the different farms to get the oils in. And I just blended it myself because I knew I wanted to go ahead and get things going. And so I just looked up different bottling companies and we just kind of started from there. And it was first just giveaways with purchases at a beauty expo, like in my school, my college, Claflin University in Orangeburg, South Carolina. So we did it there. And the reviews were like, the ladies was like, oh my God, this is good. My husband is using it, this, that, and the third. So we just started making it available to the clients. Then one client posted it on Facebook and was saying how it helped her daughter hair. And I was on vacation in Miami, but when I got back, we saw all these orders came in. So it was like, oh my goodness. And so from there, it just went. And the next thing you know, we've sold over like 3,000 to 4,000 bottles. I mean, it's just really been a growing thing. And we haven't even really turned the light on, Mickey. When I say that, we haven't done any advertising, any promotion. It's just been a word of mouth product that has helped people, and we talk about edges because, as a hairdresser, people have always said I had a growing hand. And one of the things, one of the first clients was telling us was that her edges didn't come back. A dermatologist told her edges wouldn't grow back and this, that, and the third. So her edges grew back. And Christy Show, Miss Shirlene, I must say that's who I got it from, had a song out called If Your Edges Ain't Anchored in Jesus. She was doing a little show. And when I heard it, I just sung it because I used to go to a church with Ronald Brown, who was a bishop, and that was the song from our choir. So I knew the song, so I just started singing it, and it just kind of caught on. And the next thing you know, it was all about the edges. And so I talk about that in the shows, just beauty content. But Mickey, I have to be honest, not that I wasn't, but I'm saying when I was in college, I used to be the fashion police for the school newspaper.
Okay.
And the fashion police for my high school newspaper. So what I did was just brought all that fashion police stuff to the edges and the anchored. And I've always been a choir director. I've always sung on the choir. So I just put on the robe and, so it's really who I am. I'm from South Carolina, so I turn on my country accent to the max, and just have fun and give the people the content because that's what they want. You know what I mean? Right. And help them feel good, make them look better, do all that kind of stuff. And just enjoy life. You know what I mean? And really just show up and be intentional and have a good time. Like Dolly Parton.
Okay.
Dolly, like, I know who I am. Y'all the ones who I'm laughing at.
Okay, right.
So yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so brilliant that you just kind of incorporate all the different parts of yourself, and it's like we see you here, and you seem pretty serious and business minded and all of that.
Oh no, that's just a little, and that's what I learned. I definitely learned with Ted was how to be polished and be business minded and be those kind of things. But really, I'm cool, country, and collective, so I still like to, be me and turn up and do whatever. So I like to be able to go from one end to the other. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm still crazy old Adrin. That's what everybody know,
Okay.
And so that's what it's about. Yes. But the Everbeen oil became a product that we started and it just grew on its own. So now we know it needs some sisters and brothers.
Okay. All right. Well, it's like we will look forward to that. And you have something you want to share with us for everybody watching today as far as a little special offer so they can check it out for themselves.
Yes. Now, as y'all know, we reclaim edges. We will have your edges growing back, and we have a code where you put in Superstar. You can get 25% off. You put in this code, Superstar, and we're going to give you a discount on the Everbeen oil. And what I love about it, it's money back guaranteed. So if it don't work, you can send it back. I'm a firm believer. If it's that good, the people will buy the rest. You know what I mean? So, so we have a special for you all, for you to try it out, Tell us how you like it. And if it works for you, let us know. Take some pictures. All right. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we love it. It's actually scrolling across the bottom. You can contact Seven and order. You can contact him for, anything else. But it's Sev, SEV is in Victor, and AND co hair.com.
Yes.
Just use the code superstar scrolling across the bottom and check it out. We definitely want to get your feedback and all.
Yes,
So
indeed.
anything else you want to leave us with? What is next for Seven?
What is next for Seven? What is really next for Seven is definitely, I've been doing a lot of the entertaining shows, and we see that that has definitely been getting rave reviews. When we look at the numbers, it's like we've reached over 61,000 accounts within the last month just from the funny content, and it's reshared content. So
Mhm.
now we're like, this is what the people want. They ask like, Seven, where have you been? Why don't you do the show no more and all that? And I'm like, the show take up time, and I have to
Right,
do income producing activities right now. You know what I mean? I
right.
started out when COVID happened, we were closed for 3 months. So I started working with a network marketing company promoting, some apps that help people with, identity protection and other coverages. And so it started bringing in good money. So I'm like, between this and the Everbeen oil, I'm kind of swamped and doing the clients. So, but we found a way where I can work it part time and still do it. So now we're bringing that back in. But I would say what's next for me is truly continuing to offer people content that makes them feel good about themselves, make them feel good, look their best, you know what I mean? Continue to grow the Everbeen oil and helping others. Because, once you realize all your dreams, really it's about helping others. And one of the things I've learned in life is that, you know, your salary is a reflection of how many people you're helping. You get what I'm saying? And that's really what it's about. And so now I've learned like, hey, being a superstar is cool, but if you're not helping others and if you're not in contribution and giving back, it's not going to be that. And I read the Bible, a scripture every day, not a scripture, a chapter every day, and I'm always fascinated by the kings in the Bible. And I
Mhm.
used to be like, well, how do they get them people to do that? But what I realize is that the kings serve the people. Like, you don't become a king if you're not serving the people. Like, you can't be a king serving yourself. You have to serve the people, serve God in the midst of that, and you become a king because you're serving others. Kings don't come from serving themselves.
Mhm.
And that's one of the things I really realized was like, this is about service. This is about
Right.
serving others. And when you're in contribution, everything else will come, you know?
It's beautiful, beautiful.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And you mentioned, adding another stream of income. And I know that is something that a lot of people were, looking at really intensely during the shutdown. Some people were shut down shorter periods of time than others, but for all of us, it was a bit of a wake up call. So what was that kind of like for you? And what would you say to someone who's like, I may need another stream of income. It's like things may be doing well, but may not be doing well behind the chair. And we just know, it's like we may not always be able to be behind the chair.
Yes. I would definitely say the key to wealth is multiple streams of revenue. We all know that having several streams. And when COVID happened, it was a blow to my business, like most people.
Mhm.
We were closed for 3 months. And so one of my mentors had a class about multiple streams of revenue from behind the chair. And when I saw the product, I knew I needed it just for my
Mhm.
business. So she was like, well, Seven, you should do the business. It's a no brainer and you're helping people. And I was real skeptical. I'm like, girl, what is this? But I got involved, and Mickey, after making like close to $40,000 on a part-time basis, I was like, oh, I can do this, more. And so I was like, let me give it more. And I would encourage anyone out there, even if you're a superstar or whatever, is definitely having multiple streams of revenue. Any network marketing company that you work with is great because network marketing provides a better way because it gives us leverage, it gives us residual, and it gives us linear. So having that in your portfolio as a beauty professional, you don't have to go looking for customers. They come to you and they share with you their problems. So if you have tea, if you have a diet, if you have a shake, if you have makeup, if you have anything to offer them outside of what's in your chair, it's advantageous. Like, you can't do everybody here, but you can provide your clients with something their sisters and brothers and family could use,
Right.
something their aunts and all of that. And so, and the good thing about it, The business comes to us. We
Mhm.
don't have to go. And so that's one of the things I've learned. So I know other people that do like other products and different things, and they work and they're successful. And so I'm like, it don't matter what you do, but definitely add a component that's going to provide you residual and leverage income, because the people that are making the money and living the lives that we want to do, that's what they do. I've been around this world and seen a lot of things come and go, but I've never seen as many millionaires and entrepreneurs in a profession than I saw with this. And I said, oh, this is where it's at. Like, let
Mhm.
me stay here. I'm going to reign, rule, reside in the upper echelon of excellence in this domain, because I've been around enough to know we look good at the hair show, but when we come from the show, what are we going back to?
Right.
And that's the part where I say, oh, something's got to change for me. And I ask God to enlarge my territories and make sure that He put me in the right environment. Because one of the things I've realized, Mickey, is that when we take on the opinions of others, we really have to be willing to buy into their lifestyle. And
Mhm.
some people, you giving advice, you like, well, girl, you ain't living like that. Like, why would I follow you up when you ain't even like, let me follow the follower up? Or, Ted Gibson, when I got the job at his salon, the music that was playing in the background was Whitney Houston, and it was Follow the Fellow Who Follows His Dream. And I
Mhm.
knew I was in the right space. I said, oh,
Okay.
where I need to be. And so that's one of the things I've learned, being around the right people, getting in the right environments, being intentional, reading personal development at least 10 minutes a day, feeding yourself right. Because what we don't realize is everybody is looking for the world to be great outside, but it really begins inside. Like, heaven is internal. I tell people all the time, you don't have a heaven or hell to put me in. So I don't care what you think about what I do and how much you judging me. I choose heaven or hell for me. You can't tell me how heaven or hell. You ain't never been there. That's for me to choose. It's internal, and so that's really what it's about, is making sure that you're in the right environments, being around the right people. You knew that. You got around the Floyds and you got around the right people and you went to the right salons and your mother showed you the right way. And that's what it's about, being
Right.
intentional so that you can get the
Mhm.
life you want. And they
Yeah.
got so many books and programs and tapes that you can listen to.
Absolutely. Yes, it definitely is about filling your mind, about surrounding yourself, and really taking responsibility is part of what I hear as well. When you talk about being intentional, it's like we can't play the victim. It's like it was a conversation I had about a week ago, and I was just like, the thing that came to me was, when Jesus says, "Pick up your mat and walk." You sitting by the pool waiting for somebody to come and take you and put you in the pool. It's like, get up, make it happen. So
Yes, indeed. Yes,
I
yes, yes.
appreciate you and all that you have shared. This has been absolutely wonderful.
Oh, I thank you for allowing me to share. And thank you for being you.
Well,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
creating this space. I will always remember when I first started my own salon and business was slow and I was looking and everything. And I started watching your shows, and you had like 5 tips for the beauty entrepreneur. I got it saved on a document.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yes, and one of the things was those 10 business cards, and I started leaving them at the Starbucks, leaving them at, next thing you know, I mean, I have a favorite client today. Her name is Raisa. I did her wedding, and we thought, and she came from one of those projects I did, from what you told me about,
Oh,
when you
wow.
share with us. So thank you for your contribution to the beauty industry. Thank you for creating a space like this where other entrepreneurs can come and share and others can learn, you know what I mean? Because we need a place to do that. And you've definitely been a staple in our community. So thank you for your contribution.
Oh, well, thank you. That's really heartwarming to hear. And yes, it's like that is just it touches my heart. So thank you.
Oh, you're more welcome.
Yeah, that's why I do what I do. It's like I really want to see us succeed. And so us as beauty professionals, it's like regardless of anything else, it's like this is such a fabulous industry and it offers so many different opportunities for so many people. It's like, and you don't have to have a college degree and you don't have to have X, Y, or Z. It's like you get to create it the way that you want it. And so it's just, it's been an incredible career for me. And I love sharing, just things that can help others to be able to shorten the path between, where they are now, where they want to go, because sometimes it can feel like an uphill battle. And grateful for the people who have been mentors to me, starting with my mom. So yes.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you again. It's like we are gonna wrap it up here, but I want to say thank you to everyone who is tuned in, and I hope that you are just leaving here kind of full, like you got a lot to chew on today. So I want to invite you and encourage you to watch, the other Beauty Superstars Talk interviews that I've done. There's more than 80 of them, and they are on my YouTube channel, which is / Mickey Wright, and Mickey is just Miki. Everyone always wants to give me letters and extra initials and all that stuff. Just MikiWright. And you can follow me at beautysuperstars.com if you add the / and I'll put it up here / pricing. It's like you can get a free copy of my Hairstylist Power Pricing Workbook and be able to take that. You can do it at beautysuperstars.com. The / pricing will get you right there. But I invite you to take a look at that, because right now, we are potentially on the verge of, or maybe even in, a recession. And I remember seeing Mr. N.H. Bronner, who started the Bronner Brothers, co-founder with his brother, um, talking about how he got into this during the Depression, into the beauty industry, because he heard it was a recession-proof, depression-proof business. And his sister was a hairstylist, and he was like, well, she's still busy, And so I know a lot of people have are still trying to recover from COVID and the shutdown, and may not be as busy as they want to be, and some may be too busy, which I've got solutions for you there too. But but I want you guys to be prepared so that you are ready. And like Seven talked about, having additional streams of income, positioning your business. It's like I helped a lot of people through the last recession in like 2009 area to have some of their best years. So take advantage of the Power Pricing Workbook. And I will look forward to seeing you guys next time. It's like I want to encourage you to keep reaching for the stars. My name is Mickey Wright. I'm a salon business coach and help hairstylists go from struggling to superstar. So see you at the top. Thanks so much again, Seven.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome.
See y'all at the top.
All right.